All right. John Lavenia is here. This meeting is being live streamed. Yes, got it. Okay. So this new version of Zoom is telling me all these warnings, and guess what? You're recording, you're live streaming. Yeah, no crap. Of course we are. So good to see you all. John Lavenia here with you on Tuesday, the 3rd of August, 2021. We've got a few of my favorite people here in the house. Let's take a look at who's here so far. We've got, oh my goodness, there's Jan and Kayluna, and we got Maggie, Cecilia, Missy, Kristen, Terry Lynn, good to see you, Colleen and Tina. Georgie's here at 3:15 a.m. as expected. Bianca, Nancy's here, Scott, hey, Sarah, and Jason's here. Good to see you, Jason and Kevin. Jill, we got some of the gentlemen here in the house as well. Salvatore, good to see you. Alavi, right. And Charles and Ishmael, hello. Darla, Michael, Ann. All right, so that's all the people I can fit on this screen. Let's go ahead and go back into looking at me, because I'm gorgeous. All right.
Yes.
Actually, my daughter, when my daughter was like 2 years old, little Trinity and my little princess, right? And she was learning words and all this. My wife got her to say, "I'm gorgeous." And she, yeah, I'm gorgeous. I'm gorgeous.
Oh, that's
So,
good.
yeah, good times. You're all gorgeous. Welcome to our call. So,
Thank you.
what are we talking about here today? I really was just in a staff meeting. So I've got a head full of, tech and issues and everything that's going on behind the scenes.
How about
Good stuff.
non-attachment?
We mute the microphones here for everyone so we can think, hear ourselves think. Right, Missy? That's a good thing to do, to be able to hear ourselves think. Here's something I was thinking about, and we can keep it kind of light today, unless you guys want to really dig in on some heavy duty stuff. But the idea that we are all in our lives facing opportunities on a regular basis. We're facing and confronting opportunities, or we're refusing to confront opportunities, right? There's a couple different ways to look at that. But like right now, everyone who's here with this group, this community, this low-hanging system, right? Anyone who's here right now, you've embraced opportunity. In some cases, for the first time in your life. That's commendable, right? Because look, if you're doing whatever methods you've been doing up to this point, which have allowed you to survive, right? Which is good. That's a good thing, survival, right? But you're looking to thrive. You're looking to reach above mediocrity or beat your best, right? And to increase your production, your lifestyle, your statistics, your whole experience of life, right? Well, there are opportunities for you to do that. Opportunities, plural, right? So it's not just like one method and that's the method. No, I've heard it said that there are as many paths as there are people to take them. So which path are you on? Well, actually, the one you chose to be on. Now, looking at my own experience, when I think about that, and this is all off the cuff, by the way, I don't have notes for you. In fact, I never do. You guys know I never know what I'm going to say until I hear it come out of my mouth. But I was just thinking back to when I was newer in business and embracing opportunity for the first time. Actually, for the first time successfully. Let me back up even before that. So a lot of you know that I used to be a diesel mechanic. So when I got out of high school, government schools and whatever, I picked up a trade. I learned how to fix machinery, and I was really good at it. It was pretty gratifying. It was a whole lot more gratifying than hanging out on the street corner with the other losers. Okay, so that's a big step up. But that went so far for me, and then excuse me, I got to a point where I was looking to have a bit more causation and all that. I was looking to, well, here's what happened for me. The last job I worked as a mechanic, I was under the employ of this manager of this automotive repair shop. He was on his third divorce. He was a drunkard, and here he was giving me commands, right? And I was thinking, I can run this place better than this guy could. So there was this guy who showed up once a week called the Matco dealer, right? Anyone familiar with that space, that world, right? There's the automotive repair shops, and then Snap-on truck, Matco truck, other tool trucks come in to sell products to the mechanics. Okay. And this guy was looking to get out. He was thinking, you know what? I think I've had enough. I think I've had enough. And I was thinking, yeah, I think I want in. It's a franchise. It's a franchise kind of a deal, 6-figure investment and all that. And so he was selling out. I was buying in. So this was my first business, I suppose, besides, running a band, right? So that was entrepreneurial. It wasn't profitable, but we were doing heavy metal on the New Jersey shore, right? That's not like a big money maker. We had fun. It was nice. We sold T-shirts and CDs and hats and whatever. But here I was joining this franchise. So I embraced opportunity, and it cost me money I didn't have, and I took business loans and and all that, and I wound up making more money than I had ever made up to that point, in the high 5 figures, not quite a 6-figure income. And I worked, my goodness, 80 hours a week, shipping, receiving, warranty issues, all of it, right? It was a big deal. Lasted a couple of years in that, and decided, oh, now I know why the other guy wanted out. Okay. And so there was this guy there. So here I was on my tool truck, doing my route, going to meet these people at the automotive shop, and you get to know these guys, right? And a lot of these guys are, well, they're doing the thing, they're fixing cars. A lot of people get into that space, into that trade, because they can be a bit solitary. I mean, you're not terribly social when you're working on a car, right? It's you and the machine. The machine doesn't talk back. And I would attempt to, and I did pretty well, develop rapport with people. Hey, you guys doing today? Hey, did you see the new tools that just came out? But a lot of these guys, their attitude was, same old, same thing, different day. Okay. Right. So low enthusiasm level. But this one guy, he came out to my truck. It was one of those step fans you can actually step into, right? So you walk into it and it's a big display on the inside. You guys are familiar with this, William? Yes. Okay. So this guy came on my truck. He's like, John, you seem like a pretty sharp guy. You ever open to other ways of making money? And I said, hell yeah, I'm open to other ways of making money. You see, he had an opportunity for me. I didn't know what it was. I had never heard of the concept that he was about to present me with. It happened to be multi-level marketing. But I was at the point where I was looking, had one foot off the truck at this point. I was like, yeah. So I showed up to a presentation, and I wound up getting involved in that. And I had my ass handed to me. Like there was, I suppose, good, training and, community kind of things like that, but rough business model. And so after a couple of years of being in that opportunity, just out of desperation, I wound up, seeking a job, right? I got to go survive and do something responsible to keep the lights on and whatever. And so I got a job, and I started to question. Here's the tragic part of this. I started to question if I was even cut out to be an entrepreneur. I mean, after all, we did the band thing, and that wasn't designed to be like, I'm not going to be the next, Elton John or something, not playing extreme metal. And then, the franchise thing, man, that was a ton of work. I have no life now, right? And then, the multi-level thing, and there's lots of different forms of that. Okay, so they're not all created equal, but in my case, it ended me up 70 grand in debt and getting a job, right? So I was wondering, is that my lot in life, right? I'm just going to go ahead and work jobs. At least there's some predictability in that, right? Now, these days, we could even argue that, right? Is there so-called security in your job? Last job I ever worked, so now fast forward a few years, right? I got my pay cut 3 times in a year, and they called it a promotion too, which is interesting or strategic, but but yeah, am I even cut out to be an entrepreneur? But it was at the point where I had kind of had my back against the wall. Sure, I was making money to pay my bills and whatever. And sure, I was working 80 hours a week and was stressed out. And sure, I was in the wrong vehicle for the goals that I had set for myself. Because I remember back, when I was doing the multi-level thing, there were people who were making $20,000 a month the cool cats, right? And they're driving Lincolns and Lexus and stuff like this. I couldn't afford a new Lexus, right? Working that job 80 hours a week. So I got to the point where my back was just against the wall and I had to make a change. Like Rome was crumbling all around me. And it came a point where when your necessity level is high enough, and I'll speak from my own experience, you could probably see this for yourself in your own life. When the necessity level is high enough, then we tend to get creative. Then we tend to recognize and see opportunities, because if our best thinking is sufficient, in other words, if the methods that I'm applying now, which nobody held a gun to my head and said, John, you have to go work this job. I signed up for that deal. Okay. Just like I signed up for the MLM deal, the franchise deal, the band manager deal, all of it, right? There are no victims, only volunteers. Okay. So if I am willing to confront that my production, my statistics, my lifestyle, and all of that is the result of my best thinking, well, who keeps showing up at the scene of the crime? Who is it? Look in the mirror, right? So my best thinking got me this far, but not further. So I was, again, because of a high necessity level, because Rome was burning all around me, I again became aware of opportunities. But now with a bit more schmarts, right? I knew a little bit more, and I knew enough to seek out people who were at the top of their game in this new field that I was going to get into, at the top of their game and making way more money than I had even considered possible, and embrace it fully. In other words, not like, when I was in the franchise, it was like, this is a business that I run. I'm familiar with the product. I used to be a mechanic. I was a customer of this product. Now I sell the product. Nice. Is it like my life purpose or something? No. It's good. It's good. It's good. But my goodness, there's a ton of complications and expense and all that. In the other world, let's say the music world, I know we've got some musicians here. There are people who are passionate about their music, right? And that's a wonderful expression, right? Some of you are selling products into the music space, right? Let's say you're targeting musicians or music enthusiasts or something, right? There's ways to do that with, what you're producing here. Is that a profitable space for a lot of people in terms of like, we're going to go be musicians now? We're going to go, most of the people I knew were lounge lizards at best. A lounge lizard is somebody who, gets a gig on the weekend and comes and plays a couple of songs for tips, So nobody's getting rich doing that, right? Unless you're, Elton John or something, or whoever. Who are the popular people these days? I don't even know. Pop music. I can't name one of them. My daughter, I'm sure, can. So there's a formula to that. I wasn't in that formula. Okay. So the planets hadn't aligned for me yet, but I look at that because, again, who kept showing up at the scene of the crime? It was the person who had sort of a half an effort here, a half an effort there. That's the guy who kept showing up. And I was busy, no doubt about that, right? I just didn't have those planets aligned. I didn't have the right mentorship. I didn't have the right business model. I didn't have the things that I could now, in retrospect, and look back and say, you know what, these were the combinations that were in place. Here's the issue with going it alone, which is what I was attempting to do for a long time. The issue when you're a lone wolf is that you don't get to have as much of an objective view at where the out points are, where the end points are, where can you optimize. If you're in the thick of thin things, it's all consuming. And that's how I felt, consumed by it, consumed by the job, the business, the band, the whatever it happened to be, consumed by it. And without the production necessary, without the chart, rising statistics. No, that was not part of the deal. Okay. It was just work harder. And so the breakthrough for me was when I not only embraced opportunity again and got off of my considerations about, maybe I'm not even cut out to be an entrepreneur, but I did it fully. And I did it with multiple perspectives. Like, here are people who have gone way further down the path than I have, who can say, do this. No, that's wrong. That's right. Do more of that. Do less of that. Right. This is the value of coaching and mentoring, which I didn't know that was the topic today, but apparently that's the topic. And I, after missing goals for years, For years, I had missed these goals. I hit them like that, and then scaled up from there, and then made my first million, and then made more. Right. So what was the big difference? The line of demarcation. I was no longer number one attempting to go it alone. The other thing was that I was no longer in any sort of like a half measure condition. I was actually putting things together so that they aligned, so that the entire machine could run. And you think I would know this, right? As a guy who knows a lot about mechanical stuff, again, this is more objective, not subjective. This is objective. I can look at the engine and say, oh, the heads are off the engine. There's no way it's going to run. Quite obviously, right? I mean, just look. In fact, this is an interesting thing. There was the school that I went to, a little bit of trivia here. The school that I went to back in the 1980s to learn how to be an automotive and diesel diagnostician, on every exam, the first question on every exam, no matter what subject matter was, brakes, diesel injection pumps, hydraulics, whatever. What is the first step in diagnosis? And the answer is always visual inspection on every topic. That you always get that answer. You damn well better get that answer right. That is always the first step in diagnosis, is visual inspection. So I wasn't visually inspecting. I could do it with machinery, but could I do it with my life? Could I do it with my business? Could I look at the outpoints? Was I willing to confront the opportunity? Yes, the opportunity to do things in a way that was beyond my best thinking. That's where the mentoring comes in. That's where the coaching comes in. You know, you've got the best athletes in the world on the basketball court, or pick the sport, whatever, right? And they are the best in the world. And they can't do it alone. Of course, there's teamwork, but also who's that guy on the sideline barking orders at them? The coach, the person who's not in the game currently. They may play the game tomorrow, okay, but right now they're the coach, and that's their role. And they get to look objectively at all the players and what's happening. And they could see things that you can't see. Amazingly valuable. And if not for that, why would there be coaches, right? I mean, just think of the economics of it. Right. So this guy's not producing anything. Here's the coach on the sideline. He's producing no scores, no goals, no wins. He produces nothing in terms of what ends up on the scoreboard. And yet, try putting anything on the scoreboard without that guy. That was a missing piece for me. I needed to have a more objective and complete survey of the scene, which I couldn't do alone. And then, that became self-evident to me. It became more and more obvious. Hey, I'm going in the right direction. My stats are going up. And now here I am, a bit further down the road, right? And not setting myself up as, look at me, I've arrived or anything, because you guys know that's not my thing. I'm just another bozo on the bus, right? I'm just a little bit further down the road on that bus. We could say the same about anyone who has achieved great things in this or any other opportunity. Right? Rachel's further down the road, but she started knowing nothing. That's how she started. Nothing. Right? Now she knows a lot. Now she's a very competent teacher. Adam, I was just looking over some of the what Adam's done here. You guys know Adam. He's one of our main coaches, and he. I remember when he had his first $20,000 month. Right? That was a big deal for him. Interestingly, that was my first goal when I was getting into business. That time when I actually finally reached my goal, that had been my goal for years, $20,000 a month. Had never done it, not in those vehicles, but with the right coaching, the right mentoring, and all the things that I finally accepted opportunities into my life and invested in myself and got it done. Wow, I hit that goal like really fast, and then blew way past it. So breakthroughs happen. They don't have to take a long time unless we've got the brakes on the whole way. We got to take the brakes off. And I know, look, we got a lot of new people here. All right. So let me go ahead and say this to our new members who are just wondering if this is even real. This is as real as you want it to be. I could tell you that there's millions being made online every single day. The difference between, the person who's making 20, 50,000 a month or whatever the number is, and the person who's just hopeful and, I'll try and we'll see how this goes. And I hope this works for me, right? The difference isn't what I just said. It's that level of commitment and perspective, which you don't do on your own. And in my case, it was believing in myself enough, because there was already proof of concept with the business I was getting into, and now I run 4 businesses. Okay, but there was already proof of concept, so I wasn't betting on someone else's experiment. We know this works. We know e-commerce works. We know the internet. There's millions being made every day. Okay, so what am I actually betting on? I'm going to stop showing up at the scene of the crime. I'm going to start showing up at the finish line, right? I'm going to be that. Here's the next chapter in my book. Here's the next part of that story, right? Yeah, I may have blundered, and I may have been short-sighted, and all the other things to hold myself back. I may have been in my own way for years, decades, but today, now we write the new chapter. Kind of scary though, because it's not yet real for you. Like if you're new, right, and you're wondering, does this work? Well, you gotta get past that. Yes, this definitely works. The real question is, do I work? That's the real question. Let's look in the mirror now, right? Who are you betting on? And are you a good investment? You damn well better be. Okay, that's for you to decide. And that's why, shouldn't be a mystery for anyone who's been hanging around here for a little while, shouldn't be a mystery. Why do we do so much personal development? Why do we study? Why do we read books? Why do we have these get-togethers, right? And immerse ourselves in this community of people who are going somewhere in life and doing something, and who believe enough in themselves that they're willing to invest a half hour and, some, money and resources and time and attention. Why are we doing all this? I mean, the training's there already. You don't have to be on this call. Go read nuts and bolts training material. Do that all day. I don't suggest you do that. I'm just saying you could. You could, because what drives all that, what makes this internet, this training, this e-commerce, all of it, what makes that, what animates that, what makes it happen? You, or not. So I believe in the ability of the individual, and you're all very able individuals, very able. And I know that you've got some degree of acknowledgement and validation of that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have signed up here. People with low self-image, low self-esteem, people who can't get out of their way, tend to not show up in this conversation. So go ahead, and if you'd like to wear that badge, please be my guest, right? You're a very able person, and you can think very highly of yourself. In fact, it's most likely that you're way underestimating what you're capable of, because yesterday you didn't accomplish what you thought you would accomplish. And so you may have some assumptions about what the next chapter looks like. Assume nothing. First rule of business, assume nothing. And just know that you can. And here's 10 million examples of people who have. Here's Rachel, here's Adam, right? Etc. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for listening to whatever just came out of my mouth. Something just happened. I'll have to go back and listen to the replay to hear what it was. But who else would like to talk? We got 74 people on here live right now. Somebody's giving me an applause. Thank you for the applause. Oh, thank you. Hey, Michael, what's your thoughts?
I think what you're getting at least that's my interpretation, is that often we do as much as we can, and it gets us to a certain point. In order to continue to make it more successful without compounding, let's say, debts and issues and stress, we often need mentors. We also need maybe a mastermind group, something that takes us beyond ourselves, because our knowledge is often limited to our input. And sometimes someone else has more input, or different, or done the same thing, but in a slightly different way. And all of a sudden there's the light bulb. So from what I got, what you're saying is that we definitely, again, with all our positiveness, still go ahead and reach out to people like Rachel, like yourself, that have more understanding, more experience, that can help us along the same type of path, so that our success is going to grow. And in that way, we're going to achieve the goals that we want, or actually probably achieve goals we haven't even thought about. I was just saying, some guy, he made a 20,000 a month. I'm like, I didn't make that last year. Okay. And I worked. And I'm like, holy cow. Like, I can't imagine what that physically looks like. I said, what, $1 million? I have no concept of what $1 million actually looks like. So to hear these figures is like, whew. However,
Can I offer you some coaching on that, Michael?
sure, yeah, absolutely.
Go today, go spend on the internet. Don't actually transact, okay? But go spend $20,000 today.
That would be like half a car.
Okay, go spend $1 million then. What I'm
Okay.
saying is, if
Yes.
you don't have a concept of what it's like to have $20,000 in your hand that you could spend this month, let's say, all right,
Right.
start making that real. There's a website you've probably heard of called Amazon. I could drop 20 grand on there really fast.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. All the toys and whistles.
Okay. All right. So the
Okay.
point is
All right.
to expand the perspective of that, because this has to be real for you. You're not going to make the money until you've got a reason for the money. The decision always precedes the means. I had this house my wife and I wanted to buy, $1 million house, beautiful, under construction. We wanted to pick out the tile and the wood and everything else because it was just framework right now. We called the guy, the contracting company, and they said, "Hey, we said, hey, we've been looking at your house." And they're like, "Yeah, we know. We see you on security cameras." And well, what would it take? What would it take for us to, be the designers of the house? They're like, "We need 50,000 in escrow by the end of this month." Well, at the time, and just deal with the numbers for a minute. At the time, we were making about 30,000 a month with our businesses,
Good.
and we were spending 30,000 a month. So
Oh.
that's not smart, by the way. It's not smart. Okay.
Right.
So that was the situation: is you spend what you make. Okay. Now we had to come up with another 50. We had 30 days to do it. Wouldn't you know it? Something happened. The planets aligned. We made 80 grand that month. Here's your 50
Whoa.
grand, our house now. Right now, would we have made the other 50,000 if we didn't decide that we're buying that house? No,
Right.
decision comes first. Right. Nothing vague about this. Nothing vague.
Well, it's so funny because when people talk about success, they talk
Mhm.
about how much money I'm going to make, how much money I'm going to have. I've never done that, and maybe that's what the problem is. I've always thought of success is accomplishing the goals that I've wanted to. In other words, with Rachel's business, with my business, with the mug business, I want to say I want to be selling X number of mugs a day, week, month. However, the dollar figure, it doesn't factor into that. It's just I want to say that I have done this. I've exceeded my investment. Now I'm having a regular income. But that doesn't have a dollar value. It's personal. My success is my reflection of myself. And I can say to people, yes, this works. But I haven't got, I see what I mean? I'm not putting
Right.
it in a financial gain um, goal as far as success.
Okay, so let's just use some simple math. Let's say arbitrarily you make $10 on a mug.
Yep.
Okay, you probably make more. You could make more, right? So let's say 100,000 mugs is $1 million.
Okay.
Okay, or one private jet. Sell one private jet. Your commission's $1 million. All right, so one unit, 100,000 units. What about here's t-shirts? Here's the other thing. Here's the one we're going to go ahead and do a special on discount. Here's the thing where it's going on fire, so let's double the price. So I don't care about the methods. I care about the result. The $1 million
Yeah.
is the result by
Okay.
whatever methods, as long as they're ethical, right? And you're
Right.
contributing benefit to the world. Okay, fine. But I don't marry the vehicle, right? The opportunity is a vehicle to get you where you want to go. You just need to know where that is. Here's the Lamborghini, Michael. Here's the Lamborghini. Go wherever you want. And you could be sitting there scratching your head thinking, well, there's the coast, but no, the mountains. Lamborghini's not moving. Spectacular, beautiful Lamborghini, right? Who's
You
driving
hit my
it? Right
you
now,
hit my
nobody.
wheelhouse there.
Yeah, there you go. I love you, man. You're great. Yeah. Why don't we take this up? And we got more people that want to share. So
Thank
sorry,
you.
guys, I'm hijacking the call here. But maybe we take that up at the end of the week. Maybe on Fun Friday, we get back together and we talk about our wins, not so much as it relates to how many mugs you've sold, which is cool too. We could talk about that. But what are you going to go spend some money on? What have you been denying yourself up to this point that you've now made a decision by Friday that you shall have that thing? When you accomplish a certain amount of revenue, profit, right? You shall have that thing. I've got one right now. I'll just tell you right now, I'm looking at a new watch. Okay. So yeah. And I can go buy the watch right now. I can go buy 10 of them. Okay. It's not even that expensive of a watch, but I've got that attached to some other business targets, which I haven't reached. Okay. So now I've got a carrot. Now I've got a carrot. All right. I can't buy the watch until I hit those goals. So anyway, thank you, Michael. Thank you. Let's go with Missy, then Darla, then Cynthia. Hey, Missy.
I just have a question.
Yes.
When you were in your younger days and you just, your uncle helped straighten you out and you decided, I want to do something. Did you just have goals? I just want to make this much money. Did you have a purpose, or did it take mentorship until you had a real, true, inner driven purpose?
It totally took
Well-
my mentorship. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Every great breakthrough I've had in my life has come via the catalyst of another or others. I'm not an island. So
it was
even
just
if,
goals before that, right?
well, no, I mean, the impulse of, and we could say hope would be like the on-ramp for all this, but your demonstration that look, here's a better result, John, which you could possibly have for yourself, that was mentoring for me, right? And so your example gave me a little bit of, an impulsive thought that maybe I could do something more resourceful with my life. I mean, after all, look at Missy, right? She can do it. Maybe I can do it too. That's actual mentorship. And I don't know where I'm going to get that evidence from, or from what direction those examples or those mentors come. So I must be open to opportunity. I must put myself in the environment where that exists, where that's real. Okay. So success is very real for people like Rachel, for example, to use an extreme example, right? Does Rachel have any like doubt about, the fact that people buy coffee cups and stuff? No, it's completely certain, 100% certainty, proof, done, case closed, not open for debate. Right? You get around people like that, and seeds get planted just even through osmosis, where you start expecting more of yourself. That's valid mentoring. It may not be eloquent, but it's valid. Does that make sense, Missy?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So glad you're here. You asked these awesome questions. Thank you, Missy. Let's go to Darla, then Cynthia, and then Eddie, and then Judith. Hey, Darla.
Hello. That kind of leads really well into what my thought process was when you were talking about getting out of your own way, and that you needed to have that mentor in order to experience that growth. One of the things I like doing is writing. I've loved it since I was a kid. And one of the problems being a writer, I think, is that you write this great stuff on the page and you go, oh my God, that's so good. Oh, this is going to be a great story, and you're in your own head and you've got this big ego going on. Well, I joined a writing group. And one of the things that they let you do is do a reading of like your first 3 chapters. So I had this story. I had written at least 3 chapters. I took it in, I passed it out to everybody. And here's all these people with, huge range of experience. Some brand new, some have been in the industry for ages, they're published. And I read it, and I actually got some really, really great feedback that it was actually good. But one of the things that I had to do before I even passed out the story was to say, okay, I know it sounds good to me, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these people's opinions and I'm actually going to use them, because otherwise my ego gets in the way. And you start looking at this and this person says, okay, this, some of it's grammatical. You need to change this to a comma, and this would be better if you say it this way. But then they start getting into changes that are structural and things that deal with the journey of the hero, the hero's journey and things like that, things that I didn't have a clue about.
The hero's journey. Oh, that's good. Good storytelling.
And it really took a lot for me to set aside my ego. And I had this stack of reviews, and each one had the different suggestions on it. So what I figured I would do is, okay, I'm going to take my original story. I'm going to do a save as. I can always go back to that. I'm going to try everything that everybody suggests, because guess what? I can keep what works for me, and then I cannot, I can change back what doesn't work, and I can shape the story. It's still my story to shape. So it's kind of the same thing with this. I need to get out of my own way, and I'm looking forward to working with other people and coming to these calls. And I consider this some mentorship. And then there's mentorship with the accountability coaches. when I've tried to do this in the past, when I've tried to start an online business or whatever, it's always been on my own. I'm kind of a hyper independent person for various reasons. And you kind of have to learn to set that aside and accept that mentorship, not necessarily letting it take over what you're doing, but letting it help show you that there are other options that will make your story better.
Mm. Beautiful. Well said. Thank you. Thank you so much, Darla. Writing is an interesting art, and I've only written nonfiction. Actually, I did write some fiction as a youth, but wow, if you're into, so you're writing like novels and stuff. Is that what you're into?
I particularly like paranormal stuff, fantasy,
wow.
some steampunk, young adult, witches, werewolves, magic, all that stuff.
Great.
A little bit of
Wow.
romance, not anything too heavy, but
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So let us know when you publish. I'm interested. Yeah. Very good.
that's my other goal.
Yeah, let's do that. Actually, we're going to move on now to Cynthia. But before we do, someone was asking, Latonia was asking, Tag Heuer. Am I even saying that right? No, actually, a watch that I've never owned one before, but it looks really awesome and they're cheap. And here it is. Casio G-Shock. Look at this. This is like, yeah, it's almost like the watch I'm wearing right now, which is a Seiko, but this thing is indestructible for like $750. Look at that. Gorgeous. Got some complications on it. Solar powered, Bluetooth, the whole damn thing. So in case anyone's looking for a birthday present for me, now you know what I like. Let's go to Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia, you've got the floor.
Hello. When's your
Hey.
birthday, John?
May 23rd.
Oh, we have to wait a year to get you
You
your
don't have to
watch?
wait. No, hold on. We got more events coming up here. Hold on. Let me think of one.
Happy 10th of August, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I so relate to your story in so many ways. I used to do the dream boards. I was into all these things and successful entrepreneur. And so then I got sick and I was sick for 8 years. Praise the Lord, I'm here. But I've had a hard time restarting. I've been back to getting, doing the things that I did. I didn't really stop, but sometimes things get in the way. And so I'm asking you a question, John. I need a kickstart here because I lost my self-value in that. I've been looking for mentors. I haven't had until you, and I'm so thankful for this group because I feel like this is really for me an answer to prayer, because I've been looking for about 8 years now for someone that would genuinely mentor and coach. No offense to anyone, but there's a lot of salesmen, maybe would be the way to say it, out there. And, I found a few of those, but
I'm a salesman.
seem to be-
Make no mistake about it. I sell every day. I sell ideas. I sell products. I sell, yeah. I mean, if you're not
okay,
in
but
sales,
let's
what are
say,
you doing?
okay,
Right.
delivery men. How's that?
Okay.
The sale was closed, but there was no delivery. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's called robbery.
Oh,
Right.
good. I like your term.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have this mental thing that I need to get over, and I'm doing the books, I'm listening. I got other stuff I even listen to as well. And this has been awesome. So I'm not isolated, that's for sure, because I'm not that kind of person either. But I guess I need to get my brain past that. I've touched and I felt, and the really cool part is I even have past experience, because like 20 years ago, I did my dream book, and like 10 years later, I happened to find it, had put it aside, and wow, I had everything that was in my dream book. Those kind of experiences to tap back on, but I need a new win. How do I get past this $100 mindset back to where I was with the 20,000 a month mindset? You've done this, this path, it sounds like. So I just, I'm looking for your wisdom here.
Well, what I just suggested to Michael, go make that real for you. Go spend some money. I just spent $750 on this watch. Right.
I've done that, and it just doesn't mean that much anymore.
Okay. Then it's the wrong target. I mean, if you're not inspired, I don't give a damn about watches. Okay. What's important to
No,
you?
no, no, yeah, no, I get that part, yeah, okay. So just keep looking until I find something that's like, wow. Right? Is that what you're
Right.
saying?
And that something may not even be a thing.
Right,
Right.
yeah, that's my thing at this point in life. It's not really things, I guess you'd say.
Right. So that's okay if you're done with things. None of us are completely done with things. You've got
No,
a
no, no,
body,
yeah,
right?
sure.
But
Right.
yeah. So then, what inspires you? Here's the thing: when we look at our goals, our purposes, right? It's not
Yeah.
something we have to force ourselves to do. We don't need
Right.
to sit there and get into like some occult state of the mystical something, whatever. No,
Yeah.
it's the thing we can't stop thinking about anyway. It's
Right,
like
right.
falling in love,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
So when it's an intangible, and I'm following, correct me along the way here, I appreciate that. But so if it's an intangible, how did you, I would just like to know some personal,
Mhm.
anybody else out there, how did you grasp, if you will, that those things that are not like go touch a watch
Great
or go
question.
touch a Lamborghini,
I got an
how
answer.
did you find that?
All right, here it is. Here it is.
Oh, good.
It has to do with experience and relationships. So all goal achievement, or all goals, we could say, are things that you want to experience, whether that's experiencing the ownership and operation of the Lamborghini, right?
Right.
The feelings of prestige or ease and comfort, right? People like to experience different emotions as they experience life, right? So what would it
Yeah.
mean? So we're going to add meaning to stuff now. What does it mean now that you've got the Lamborghini or the trust fund or the $1 million asset, liquid assets, the capital gains, right? So how does that feel? So what's the experience of that, whether it's a physical product or not? And then here's the accelerant that we put on top of it, is the relationships that you currently have, that you will continue to have once you've experienced the accomplishment of the goal, the furthering of your purpose. All right. What
Mhm.
conversation are you going to be having with your spouse, your son, your daughter, whoever, right? People that you already know in casual conversation. What conversation are you going to have with me, Cynthia? And you know my facial expressions, you know how I operate, right? You just talk to your friend John.
Yeah.
What conversation are you having with John now that you've accomplished that goal? And then hear my response, my reactions, and visualize that. See yourself having that experience in the relationship that is already real for you, okay, with people in your life, now that you've reached the goal. What conversation are you going to have with them?
Okay, so that's the other part, because of the
Mhm.
places, I'm reinventing a circle. And,
Am I
people
in it?
kind of go different directions at different points in life, and especially when someone's sick, like I was.
Okay.
So I'm reinventing circles. And yeah, so we look within, obviously, groups like this. I mean, this is awesome. How did you reinvent your circles, or how did you find your new circles?
I put myself in the environment where the people who were getting the results that I sought were getting. It was real. I just put
Okay.
myself into a new reality, and that was in some cases physically, like getting my ass on planes, showing up to events, meeting people, right,
Right.
going to lectures
Right.
and various things, and in some cases virtual, like we're doing here. Cynthia, you're doing it. It's almost like
Right.
you're in the water, you're a fish in the water, wondering if there's such a thing as water, right? It's like it's that close to you, right?
You're awesome. Thank you, John.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I think it's this, we're all in this transition place in the world that is new. So like I used to be really involved in all these different civic and local and, beyond kinds of things. So I guess I'm still navigating, okay, where are they right now? I don't know how it is for everybody else, but around here, it's still pretty closed down. So yeah, I'm so thankful to be here. I
Mhm.
truly appreciate your input, and anybody else's and insights from your experience. There's so much to be gained from that. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Cynthia. And thank you for being in this circle. So glad you're here. Let's go ahead and take Eddie and Judith, and then we'll wrap up for today. Eddie, if you would, please come on down. Sorry, guys, I got a little tickle in my throat today. I don't mean to cough in your ear. Where's Eddie? Eddie Smalls.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
how's everybody doing?
Oh, man, now that we're here with you, my life is great. Yeah.
You're so good at that flattery stuff. That's sweet.
Man, I got it. I got it.
I made a point to get on this call because I am off today. But I want to tell people something, and I mean this like I'm about to say it. God sent me to Walmart 5.5 years ago. I didn't even shop at that place. I said, "Come on, God, Walmart." I'm a person. I'm into the meditation, all this, and the impulse came. A guy walks up to me and said, "Are you looking for a job?" And I had decided I was trying to be an entrepreneur without a job, and it wasn't working. So yes, he said, "Okay," and he gave me directions to this Walmart, and I went there and I got hired right off the bat. And 5.5 years later, I'm looking around at all these people bickering about this job, and I love it. I don't love the job. I love the idea that I understand what God is showing me. He says, look at who you are. Because I didn't like myself. I'm 65 years old. I'm still struggling with that. My customers love me. I moved from one Walmart to another one because they shut it down. They came after looking for me. I said, what's going on? They say, you just a brighter sunshine. I mean, I went past 2 Walmarts to come shop where you are. I'm in meat and produce. I'm a trained chef, and I tell people how to cook the stuff that's there. They can't cook. I say, I'll show you how to cook. All these herbs, this stuff, put it in your body. It will make you healthy. I say, I'm 65. I used to couldn't do this 30 years ago, and I danced for him. But God is showing me my worth. So, and you hear me, I don't have any problem with words, but you won't believe that I'm shy. But I heard Rachel's story. She came from a Walmart working cash registers. And I told them, if y'all want to get rid of me, put me on the cash register. Because I did 15 years of McDonald's. I work at McDonald's. May I help you, please? Would you like to have an apple pie with that? What you want that supersize? I got that down pat, so I don't want any more to do with that. But I understand why the universe sent me there. He's helping me see my worth. And I love words. And I said, wait a minute. People putting words on mugs and shirts and all kinds and making millions. I got to get in that. So if you're struggling about how to get where you're supposed to go, I'll tell you, it's going to come to you if you quiet your mind and listen. But that's what I did. Now I got to get past this lone wolf stuff because, get past being ashamed of who I am. I mean, I see this M on my chest. I designed that about 22 years ago because another spirit just told me, you are here to do X, Y, and Z. And I told John about that. I'm not gonna get into that story, but I'm looking at everything matters. I'm telling you, everything in your life. I mean, I hear you talking about MLMs. I've done 12 of them, 12 MLMs and never been successful, but it taught me my weaknesses. That's what I said, so it wasn't a waste of my time. It's showing me, Eddie, this is why you can't go forward. So when you get a chance to talk, open your mouth and say it. Now, start putting it on mugs and selling it. Start putting it on shirts and selling it, and you will get your dream. And I would have Cynthia or whoever it was talking about writing books. Yeah, I've written books. I've gotten up speeches. I've done a lot of these things. But I am learning. I'm a wonderful guy. I mean, I'm just lovely. I'm 65 and I'm just learning that. Is that crazy? No. That's what your life. It's plenty of people out there don't like themselves, ashamed to admit it. And that's why you're not moving forward. Because I'm tired of being a lone wolf. And no, I've never made a million. I heard a guy talking about $20,000. Yes, I work for the state. $20,000 was a lot of money, we thought. No, I meet people that are making $20,000 a day. I meet them. They come in Walmart. I said, why are you doing that? Well, my wife likes it here, but he makes a lot of money elsewhere. Wow. And I'm meeting these people and they want me to help them. You want me to help you? And they say, yeah, because we heard you do X, Y, and Z. So I do it. I say, this is why I'm here. Find out why you're here, and I promise you, it'll translate into your business. Find out what do you really want? No, I don't really care anything about that Quavo watch, but John does. You know, time, I'm 65, I've seen enough time. I love people. I love making them happy. I dance in 41 and below. That's what it is over there in produce. Most people calling in because they got a cold. I never catch a cold because I learned about health a long time ago. Don't make the common cold common. Stop making it common. Make it uncommon. And then it'll take care of all the other viruses around it. I'm preaching now, but no, really. But people, I wanted to get here because this is exciting. I'm trying to find a way to get on this thing when I'm on my job. So I might sneak on my phone in the bathroom or something. I don't know. But this is exciting. John, thank you for this. I appreciate it. You all right. I'll put it right there because I promise you I can keep it.
You know what?
I'm gonna give it back to you.
Sign me up, damn it. Pass the collection basket, somebody. Pass the collect. Yeah, Eddie, thank you. Thank you. Amen. So glad you're here. Wow, you're glowing and you've inspired a lot of people today. I'm spitting all over myself. Okay, we got Judith, and then we're going to wrap up for today. Hi, Judith. You get to follow Eddie Smalls.
Wow, I don't know if I can actually follow that. But Eddie, you're amazing. I totally, congratulations. I wanted to kind of go back really quick and touch on what Michael and Missy were asking, the questions they kind of asked you. When I started in my career as a young gal, I was all full of it. I mean, I was the light of the ball. You know, I was a butterfly. And I just knew that I was going to be successful. There wasn't an option because I believed that I could. And from then I did everything I could to just make it happen. I got my licenses, my credentials. I joined the right people, joined the right groups, and I did it. And $20,000 a month. And I know that seems like a lot, and it is tremendous. But after a while, $20,000 a month becomes, you become used to it, or 40,000 or 50 or whatever. You become what it is you see yourself to be. And I always knew that, and I followed that. And I did very well in my career until I got very sick after 34 years. But I never, even when I was very, very sick, I never gave up on the belief that after this is done, when I'm better, I'm on that road again. Because you know what? The universe always provides. It never fails. But all I have to do is believe in myself. And you know what? I'm going to take the steps to get where I'm going to go. Yes, it's not always easy. It's not always easy because you get bumps in the road. Right now, I'm dealing with a flood issue in my house. I've had to push John's meeting off several days. But I'm going to tell you something. Yesterday, watching Earl Nightingale, actually 5 times. I love Earl Nightingale. For anybody that's going through the pre-launch session, Earl Nightingale just brought me back to center. I mean, I've been doing The Secret and all that stuff for a long time. My daughter's got a wonderful, successful coaching program online. She makes a ton of money with a lot of that. But I'm going to tell you, Earl Nightingale brought me right back into my center core yesterday. And I got up and I was like, oh my gosh. I was dancing around the house. My ideas were blowing up. And then out of the blue, not scheduled, I get a call from Jason, my accountability rep. And I was on fire. I was so excited. And I had a long talk with him and he was laughing by the time I'm done. But Michael and Misty and anybody else that's on this, if it's not you, who is the universe going to pay? Who is the universe going to provide a great life for? You are every bit worthy as every other person. Just believe, because that's all it really takes. And do the steps along the way. And definitely listen to Earl Nightingale. It'll blow you away. So thank you. Namaste. I appreciate everybody every day.
Namaste. Thank you. So glad you're here, Judith. This is just the beginning, everyone. And I think we're getting how real this actually is and how real it can be for you. And that is, perhaps that's the topic for today, is making it real for yourself, right? You're here to accomplish something pretty profound, in fact, and you're going to affect a lot of lives along the way. So buckle your seatbelt. Welcome again to our new members. We're going to go ahead and wrap up, I think, with that. Judith, you had one more thing?
Well, I just wanted to say, and I'm sorry, I meant to say this. When you get in that mindset, when you accomplish even little goals, you can't go back. And I know that John and anybody else here that has had wealth and success, it becomes a part of you. And not having that again and not getting to that point, you go through your life thinking, okay, I can't imagine my life not successful. I can't imagine not going to the store and getting what I want or providing for the charity that I want. It becomes a part of you so much so that you can't imagine not being that person.
Mm.
And anything beyond that is not acceptable. So you rise to the occasion. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that last bit.
Awesome. Thank you, Judith. All right. So should we get back together tomorrow, you think, you guys? Should we do that? All right. Very good. We'll do it. In the meantime, we got some stuff to do right now. So let's get on with our days, unless it's the middle of the night for you and you're watching this. Have a good rest. I'll see you back here in 23 hours. Okay. Sound good? You guys have a good one. Bye for now. Bye-bye.